Right now.
Right now.
Welcome, my friends, to another weekly Right Now update stream. Welcome to our Monday updates, and we're going to see what we're going to be talking about today. So we got a couple things that I'm going to be chatting about. We're going to go over our YouTube channel member updates. I'm going to go over Read Now book club stuff as we've kind of talked through a couple logistical things we're going to chat through. I'm going to be talking through some videos, some post-faded fantasy stuff, and what the upcoming Right Now calendar looks like. So stick around. I'm going to be going through all of that and more in just a little bit. I'll give it a few minutes for everyone to hop into the chat. Welcome. How is everyone doing today? So it's always interesting when I think about, all right, what frequency and then how often do I do these update streams and how much do I have to talk about as compared to just like, all right, let's just do like a writing stream and I'll focus on trying to get more work with Scarecrow. I was like, man, happy Monday, by the way. White's here. Great to see you in the chat, my friend. Hope everything is going well. Welcome. I am so excited to be able to see everyone in here. And let's see. Wow. So we definitely had a lot of really fun. We it was interesting as I kind of think about the past couple of months. Everything was so crazy busy when we went from we were focused on Faded Fantasy, the competition, and all the craziness and everything in between. And then I hopped right into the AuthorTube writing conference, and then I've kind of been recovering since. I think I've just like allowed myself to just recover since all that craziness. White's here. You're like, everything is going okay. Having a low day today, been staring at the end of what I wrote yesterday and making no progress. Oh man. Well, White's here. I hope you're I hope you're in luck. So for all of the things, for all of the Faded Fantasy stories that we had submitted, I know yours was one of the ones that didn't make it to the semifinals, but as promised, all of the ones that didn't make it, I'd offered to read them on the stream. I'd be happy to read yours today if you want to share it with the community. It's kind of cool. Should be like a 10-minute read. It's actually kind of exciting. I feel like I need my my reading vibes today. I was gonna wait till you showed up to the stream, but it's actually great that you hopped into our update stream today. Hey, what's up, Mast? Welcome. You're like, please keep the victim of the floods down here. Mast, I'm so sorry that you're dealing with flooding. That is the absolute worst. I'm so sorry about that. Like crazy things going on in the world and the community. So, wow. Absolutely crazy things. But definitely stay safe. Hope you're all right and hope that everybody and your family is going to be all right. It's always like such crazy things with global warming and climate and these crazy weather conditions. In my area last summer, we dealt with a lot of fires, and there were literally fires that like were within a really close proximity, and we were on that the alert status where we are about to be evacuated. So it's really crazy when you're dealing with weather events like that. Awesome. And White too. Yeah, thank you for that. So I'll read it in just a little bit. I'm going to hop into some of the announcements, and then I'll cue that up with Faded Fantasy when I touch in on the Faded Fantasy announcement. So super cool. I was like kind of wanting to get like my story, my reading chops. So definitely make sure you stick around, because we'll do a live reading of a White Seer's story. This was one of the stories that was submitted for the Fade Fantasy competition and didn't make it. But I know, White Seer, you probably took it through a revision, and then you threw it up on the Discord. And as promised, even though the ones that didn't make it, we still want to highlight them. So super exciting. Ah. Yeah, mass. Definitely some absolutely crazy things. Absolutely some crazy things going on out there. Um Tiara, welcome, welcome, welcome. Absolutely welcome. Good to see you in the stream, my friend. Hopefully, Monday is treating you well. Hopefully, it's treating you well. I think it's crazy when crazy things are going on in the world. It always reminds myself, how can I control what's within my own power and my own capability, and then what can I take from my learnings to infuse into storytelling. So that's always the questions that I ask myself to be a better storyteller. um yeah, and just crazy stuff is always going on out there. Okay. So I feel pretty good, and we have a number of things to get into. So let me throw up the screen share. We'll start off with our weekly update. So as you guys can see, we got our schedule for the week. Super simple, as I had promised. Throughout the month of January, not January. Oh my god, we're not in January. Throughout the month of whatever month we're in, as Kaufman is. Let's see. I'm gonna play around. I was like, I think I can do better. All right. Nope. I don't like that. I'm like messing around with like things behind the scenes over here. Okay. So as you guys can see from the update from our schedule for it this week, we're just doing more writing sprints. We're keeping it super casual, very, very simple. Um, and I was like, I don't know why that changed. Oh, yeah, maybe I need more coffee today. All right, we're just gonna do that, and that is what we are gonna do. Okay, so like I said, we're keeping it very easy this week. My goal over the next couple of weeks, or over the next couple of months, personally, is to try to focus on more writing sprints. So that way, I can try to make more progress with Scarecrow. I know how badly I want to finish the last Scarecrow, and I'm sure I know I've definitely heard in the community. I know you guys probably want to hear and read the finished book as well. So full steam ahead. Got to definitely make progress. So we got our writing sprints this week with our Kaufman Writes episodes. Wednesday, obviously, is our normal writers group. We'd love to see our writers join us here in the community. By the way, Marcella, welcome, welcome, welcome. Always good to see you over here, my friend. And Saturday, we're back with the next episode of the Story and Critique stream. So we'll be back on Saturday, everyone's favorite stream, the Story and Critique show. If you want feedback on your story, submit now. I was like, I don't know how many we had queued up from the previous one, but definitely submit now if you're wanting story feedback. The link for the submissions is down in the YouTube description down below. So definitely go submit if you haven't submitted already. It's our favorite stream. All story submissions receive, basically, it's like an alpha reading. I attribute the critique to like a 10-minute live reading, with the feedback being a cross between an alpha reading and developmental edit. So very, 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 very fun. I'm super excited about that. I always love our weekly updates. So on that note, let's hop into the upcoming Right Now calendar. So this is actually going to be kind of crossing with our YouTube channel member updates. As I pull it up. So moving forward, I'm going to be trying out a new schedule format where I start announcing what our special events look like at the beginning of the month. Now, July is going to be a little bit of a casual month. I'm like, okay, do I list all the writing sprint days? I was like, maybe I might. I might like for August. I might put all the writing sprint days, but I'm like, I kind of wanted to focus more on our specialty streams. So as you guys can see, I'm going to start posting our monthly Right Now calendar because I get so many questions from writers in the community. They're like, when is the next story and critique show? When is the next YouTube channel member stuff? So I'm going to start posting our monthly calendar at the beginning of the month. I'm like, today's the 7th, but 4th of July holiday, got a little bit of catch up. So I'm going to start trying to get into this habit of posting it at the beginning of the month. So that way you guys will know what special streams and what events we have coming up. And I think this also goes into our channel members. So for those of you who see, we have our story and critique show. Our twice a month stream will be on the 12th and the 26th. For those of you guys who are super excited, maybe like, hey, I want feedback on my story, but I might not be ready for this coming weekend. Well, you already know that our next critique show will be on Saturday, July 26th. So it gives you a little bit more time to prepare. Now, as I think through our YouTube channel membership, for those of you who don't know and are not already YouTube channel members, essentially being a channel member is a way to support the community. I was like, oh, pull up the thingamajigger here. All right. I want to say that this is right. Yeah, maybe. Okay, here we go. Yep. So basically, this is basically the way to join and support the community. Essentially, what we do is we have the 3 tiers, right? So for anybody who's not already a channel member, I played around with a couple of different aspects. Essentially, the first tier, we have the Right Now Writer tier, the Right Now Critique tier, and then the Right Now Student tier, which is basically giving you access to a couple of different things. Aw, Courtney, that is so cool of you. I was like, absolutely gifting 5 memberships, CourtneyBomb.com. I was like, absolutely. Courtney, thank you so much. And by the way, if you were just gifted a membership, welcome. So this is basically going to give you access to our Right Now Writer tier. Now, what does that give you? So that's basically going to give you access to the icons. So you get the icon next to your name, and then you also get the emojis. And then in addition to that, you're going to get access to the members only live streams. So we're going to we have a number of members only live streams in our library already. So you can check out those members only live streams. And then you'll also get to come to the live viewings. So we're going to have 2 members only live streams this month on the 13th and on the 27th. You're like, the 13th? Oh, wait, that is this weekend. So if you are a Right Now Writer tier, this is normally $4.99, a $5 tier. This means that on this Sunday, you'll be able to have access to this members only live stream. This live stream is going to be a deep dive in how to write a book. I've decided I'm going to do a full deep dive in showing you the process and what does it take from the first idea all the way to the finished product. I know a lot of you are familiar with the process. I know a lot of you, some of you probably already have published books. Maybe some of you haven't even started yet, or maybe you're somewhere in between. We're going to talk through what it looks like from that ideation all the way to the finished product, step by step by step, and what it looks like developing our process. So this Sunday's member only live is going to be a great stream. Definitely make sure to join us. It'll be 1 p.m. Pacific, 2, 3, 4 p.m. Eastern. So you're definitely going to want to make sure to join us this Sunday. That'll be for the Right Now Writer tier. Now, for our other 2 tiers, we have the Right Now Writer tier is the $4.99 one. The second one is our Right Now Critique member tier. I was like, let me see if it lets me. Doesn't let me. Oh, maybe. I was like, maybe it will let me. There we go. All right. So that way I could make it blow it up a little more. So essentially we also have our Right Now Critique member tier. So this is our $9.99 member tier. This is the mid tier. So you're going to get everything in the Right Now Writer tier and the Critique member tier, which means you get access to the Critique member group, which is our monthly critique group. Our critique group is going to be on Sunday, July 20th. That is going to be our main event that day, as we are come together with the other members of the Right Now Critique member tier. It is not a live stream. It's a private event. It's a private group where basically you can bring your story and get feedback from myself and other writers in the community. Every single critique group we've had, everyone gets so much value out of it. So it's definitely a great feature. And it's just a great tool. Usually critique groups like this cost way more money than $10. So let me tell you, you're getting some amazing value out of it. And then for those of you who are really ready to invest in your own author journey, I started the Right Now student tier. Essentially, this is a $29.99 a month. So this is the subscription. Essentially, this is giving you a coaching session with me. Now, with normally my coaching rates is higher. So getting that $29.99 coaching session, I framed it as an open office hours coaching session. Essentially, you'll be able to get one-on-one coaching time with me 1 to 2 times a month. So it depends on the number of critique members that we have, but essentially I'll hold an open office hours. You'll be able to come in. We could chat about your story. If you're needing help, you're like, hey, I just need feedback on this. Or, hey, I'm lost in my story development. We could work on developing your story. This is one of the things writers love doing. If maybe you're struggling with a part of it, we could work on your journey as an author. If maybe you struggle with consistency or you need help with accountability, things like that. So the Right Now student tier is really a great, it's a great way if you're really ready to like invest a little bit more and get one-on-one coaching time. So definitely you'll get some great value out of it. And then of course the higher price tiers, you get everything in the lower tiers as well. So if you're the student tier, you get everything in the critique member and the writer tier. Critique member, you get everything in the writer tier, so on and so forth. And once again, if you're just wanting to support the community, the Right Now writer tier is the great way to just support. And then remember, everything that's priced, YouTube takes a 30% cut, and then taxes take another 30% cut. So what I'm actually pulling is probably like 40%. And then what I actually pull of the 40% gets reinvested into the community that I generally end up using towards advertising like events, or hopefully paying future volunteers for events, or bringing in some bigger names into our community. So those are just a couple of things where this type of money gets invested into, because I just want to make the Right Now community as awesome as possible. So that's what we got going on with the Right Now YouTube channel membership. As you can see with our monthly calendar for July. So we got a couple of channel membership things going on. So the 13th and the 27th will be our live streaming. They'll be our channel member only live streams. The 20th is going to be our critique group. And then the 16th is going to be our first office hours. So as I'm looking at this, I'm like, I don't know, maybe I make like a little more space to write what each of them actually are. Maybe I make different icons. Got to play around with that. So, well, we'll see. We'll see how I feel. But that's kind of what we got for the calendar this month. I might add something like on the 19th. I've been asking myself if I want to do something. There's a new type of stream that I'm really wanting to try. And as we all know, right, the way that we get to new cool streams is we're always trying new things. So there's a couple of new specialty streams that I really want to try. For those of you who've been in the community for a little while, you know that we had our, you know that last year we did a number one. We did the pitch wars. We did the blurb and pitch fest. And we've done a number of different types of workshops. I'm continuing to tinker around and test new types of specialty streams to bring you value. It just really comes down to planning and prioritizing for me, because I have to make sure, like, okay, if I'm going to do this, A, I have to have the time, B, I have to be able to plan and prepare, and then C, I want to make sure that you're getting value out of it. So definitely. We'll see what that is looking like next week, and more to come. Fingers crossed, as the goal is help us finish writing our books. So perfect. That is what I wanted to touch on. And what else do I got? Videos. Yeah. So what I think a real quick note with our videos. So the community has been so focused on live streaming and live streaming capability, and I'm not going to be stopping that anytime soon, but I am wanting to invest a little bit more time into long form videos, since YouTube, the algorithm, serves long form videos a little bit better than it does live streams. I also want to be able to help share our knowledge of helping more writers finish their books. And sometimes, for some reason, more people will engage with videos on a weekly and monthly basis. And then they also get better replay value. So you'll probably start seeing a little bit more consistency in terms of long form video uploads coming up. And when I think about like, okay, well, what types of long form videos do I really want to focus on? They're all really going to be focused on helping you finish writing your book. Maybe they'll be on writing technique. They'll either be on technique, motivation, or process. Wait, process, lifestyle, and mindset. Process, lifestyle, no. Technique, process, one of the three things. All the things it takes to finish a book. I was like tongue tied. So awesome. Yeah, and Mass, that's a really good point. Oh, by the way, thank you for that. Like, don't forget to like and subscribe as well as join the Discord. Very much appreciated, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then you're like, we understand you're focused on Scarecrow, though. Yes, yes. So I think this is one of the things why I'm not planning any major events, so that way I can really challenge myself and push myself to make progress with Scarecrow. As we all know, we got to get Scarecrow into that next chapter. Oh man, the chapter that I'm on is crazy. Bananas. So with that being said, what do we got next? So Faded Fantasy. So the next major update. So once again, thank you all for everyone who was involved in the Faded Fantasy competition. It was so much fun, so great. And if you're new to the community and you missed out on the Faded Fantasy competition, you can actually check out day 1 and day 2. It's linked down in the YouTube description down below. It was so much fun. We had so many stories read. We had live stories, we had live voting, we had live games, and live readings, and live judging, and so much. So if you're just wanting to like kick back, listen to some great stories, and just enjoy the experience, go check out the Faded Fantasy events, linked down below. We had so much fun. And then you'll also be able to hop in and check out our last writing competition, Freaky Friday, which we did last year. So we got 2 competitions under our belt. Now, everyone provided some really great feedback for the Faded Fantasy competition. Everyone was generally super excited about how the submission process, how the early submission process went. So everyone was super excited about that. And then there was a little bit more of a mixed bag when it came to the competition, the judging format, simply because I think we changed on the romance side of it. I think that was a learning aspect on our part. So I think it's always valuable when we get feedback. So that way, when we do stuff like that in the future, we can improve, right? Because I think anytime you take a shot at doing a bigger type of event and you've never done it before, then you're going to have to figure out like, okay, well, how do I improve and how do I get better at it? Yeah. So we definitely had some great learning opportunities, and it was so much fun. Yeah, but everyone, thank you for being involved. Now, for those of you who are the semifinalists, I'll probably be shooting out emails hopefully this week, but we're going to be moving straight ahead with the Faded Fantasy Anthology. So the Faded Fantasy Anthology is going to give you a chance to revise your story for our published anthology, which we'll be publishing later this summer. Last year, we did the Freaky Friday anthology during the competition itself. So we did it during the competition, and it was cool. It was a rough stretch. It was challenging for us to be able to get it out in such a short period of time, but I'm glad we were able to. This year we pushed off a little bit so that way we weren't as rushed and didn't conflict with the competition. So definitely congratulations again to our semifinalists and finalists. We'll be giving you the details for that soon, my friends. Awesome. So on that note, All right. So as promised, one of our writers who made it. So one of our stories that was submitted into the Faded Fantasy competition, but didn't quite make it to the semifinals. As promised, I want to highlight one of those stories. So by our very own Whiteseer. So Whiteseer submitted his story, a phase bounty. Now, while I didn't quite make the cut, and let me tell you, it was super close. It was really close. Like the points for the ones that didn't make the semifinals was very, very close. So since then, we've given the writers the chance to revise their stories and then give them the opportunity. I'm going to do a live reading of it right now for those of you who missed out or you weren't able to check it out. Awesome. And it sounds like this piece turned into something greater. All right. So let's see what we got. As you guys can see here, we'll start off with this. We'll see how it sounds. I haven't read it yet, so I'm very much looking forward to it. And let's see what we got. So this was one of our original submissions that didn't quite make the cut, but has since sounds like it's become a longer project. So super cool. All right. A phase bounty. The bounty hunter Maeve stood staring at her reflection in the dusty mirror, in her private room in the Rising Dragon Inn. Raising her left arm, she began to recite ancient Elvish. Though they were covered by the fabric of her white tunic, the black tattoos that adorned her left arm started to emanate a viridian glow. They emanated light. The emitted light outlined her athletic body. She was tall for a half elf, pale skin with blush cheeks, her piercing green eyes veiled behind long, unkempt black hair, all now painted in the glow of ethereal light. As she continued the incantation, the mirror's edges shimmered. A tear formed across its center, revealing an inter-realm space within. The mirror rippled in acceptance of its soon-to-be passenger. Stretching her bright arm in front of her, she stepped through the portal, leaving the room behind to its familiar darkness. Rubbing her eyes as the brightness dimmed, her focus returned, revealing a dark, narrow pathway that weaved through thick trees. A breeze delivered a waft of fresh petrichor to her nostrils, bringing the sensation of a spring morning and urging her to follow the path. Nervously, she brushed her hair back behind her half-elven ears and placed her right hand on the hilt of her scimitar. As she started to walk, it made her comfortable to feel the weapon's presence, although she had never seen anything to fear in this realm. Each visit to see him was a roll of the dice. A wrong word here or there during the incantation, and she could have ended up somewhere else. Her stomach growled, a familiar churning of anticipation and anxiety. But she had to see him. She had questions that needed answering. Clenching her jaw as she walked, she felt the resentment build inside of her. It wasn't enough that she already had to do his bidding. Now she had to come begging for his assistance. The path opened into a breathtaking glade. On one edge, a waterfall cascaded down a moss-covered cliff face, feeding a small crystalline pool that reflected the image of the sky. Sentinel, ancient, and interwoven trees circled the glade, their gold-speckled bark holding aloft a red-leafed cloud-like canopy, which was dappled in sunlight and shadow. The soft, mossy floor of the glade was intermittently carpeted with wildflowers, their strange hues creating an iridescent sheen. She took a deep breath. Scents of honeysuckle and damp earth filled her lungs, encouraging a sense of calm. This was the heart of the realm of whispers, his realm. The veil between the mortal realm and the other realms was thin enough to cross, if you know how. Here the Fae held their power. It was a power that Maeve knew all too well. Lopan! She called out, the word struggling to compete with the symphony of the glade. Only the murmur of the water, falling in the distance and the wind, teasing the canopy, answered. He always made her wait. She suppressed an impatient sigh. Inhabitants of the Feywild were nothing, if not theatrical. Her boots sank in the soft moss layer as she ventured further into the glade. The glade was larger than it appeared from the path, either an illusion of the light or a consequence of the magic emanating from the place. She could feel it now, the ever so slight hum in the wind, the tingle spiking the hairs on her skin. The magical energy was vibrant and likely the reason the glade existed in all its wonder. Passing a copse of luminous mushrooms, which cast out a ghostly glow, she called out again. Lofan! Are you lost, Maeve? The voice, a melodic whisper which traveled on the air with no visible source. She instantly recognized the owner, but the suddenness of it startled her. She spun around, trying to see the messenger. There was movement from the canopy. She squinted above at the sunlight, beaming through the leaves. A moment passed, and he revealed himself. A little jumpy, aren't we, my little rosebud? The voice chuckled as Lofon hovered above her. He was held aloft by a set of 4 insect wings, an iridescent kaleidoscope of blues, greens, and purples. Although they appeared as a delicate dance of stained glass, they were strong enough to carry him with effortless grace. He was taller than you would expect for a fae, slender features with a bare chiseled torso. His skin was the color of polished jade. Large luminous green eyes glowed with an inner light, as if he saw directly from within his soul. May found him beautiful in a way that was alluring, but also unsettling. As he descended, she could see he wore leggings made of living vines, adorned with small blossoms. Every now and then, a bloom would fall to the ground, and a new one would grow in its place. A circlet of thorns sat on his brow, their points tipped with berries, which gleamed like red jewels. Lofan, she said, you could have made your presence known a little less dramatically. He tilted his head, a slow, deliberate movement. But where is the fun in that, Maeve? I do so enjoy a good entrance. He chuckled again. Besides, I want to see if you still had an act for the dramatic yourself. You did not disappoint. She resisted the urge to roll her eyes. I have a contract to fulfill, Lofan. I don't have time for games. I came because I need your help. Always so serious, he said, his voice laced with amusement. He descended slowly, his wings fluttering softly, creating a gentle breeze that rustled her hair. He landed lightly on the ground a few feet away, his gaze fixed on her. Tell me, Maeve, he said, his voice turning serious. Are you enjoying the fruits of her little arrangement? She shifted uncomfortably under his scrutiny. The pact. It was a necessary evil, she had told herself, a means to an end. She needed power, the kind that only an otherworldly being could grant. And Lofan, for reasons she didn't fully understand, had been willing to provide it. In exchange, of course, for services rendered. Services that often involved retrieving things that should probably remain lost, or delivering messages that should probably remain unsent. The power has been helpful, she said, choosing her words carefully. He raised an eyebrow, his lips curving in a knowing smile. Helpful? Is that all? Surely the ability to manipulate men, to weave illusions with a flick of your wrist, to bend the very fabric of reality to your will, is more than just helpful, my little Maeve. He was toying with her, of course. He always did. It was part of the game he played. She clenched her jaw, refusing to give him the satisfaction of seeing her flustered. It allows me to do my job more efficiently, she said, meeting his gaze. Ah, yes, he said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. The bounty hunter chasing down rogue mages and escaped princes. So noble, so selfless. It pays the bills, she retorted. He laughed. A genuine, unrestrained laugh that echoed through the glade. Oh, Maeve, you are a constant source of amusement. You try so hard to deny the darkness within you, yet you embrace the power I offer so readily. Maeve remained silent, refusing to rise to his bait. He knew exactly how to poke at the insecurities she tried so hard to bury. He leaned in closer, his expression softening slightly along with his tone. Tell me, Maeve, he said, his voice losing its teasing edge. Do you ever wonder why I chose you? The question surprised her. It was something she had wondered. Of course, but she had always assumed it was a simple matter of convenience. Had she just been in the right place at the right time, desperate for power and willing to make a deal? I assume you saw potential, she said sheepishly, shrugging. He smiled, a sad, enigmatic smile that sent a shiver down her spine. Potential, yes. But potential for what, Maeve? That is the question. His glowing eyes boring into hers. You are half elf, caught between two worlds, never truly belonging to either. You carry a darkness within you, a hunger for something you cannot name. I saw that, Maeve, and I saw the potential to shape that destiny. I'm not a puppet, Lofan, she said, her voice sharper than intended. No, he said, his smile widening. Not yet. But the threads are there, Maeve. The threads are there. He reached towards her with his long, slender fingers. His nails were tipped with shaped thorns that matched those on his circlet. She stood frozen as he traced a line along her cheekbone, sending a jolt of energy through her. She felt warm, safe, empowered. If he asked her to conquer the world for him, she would attempt it. Such is the charm of the Fae. Bringing his cheek to hers, he whispered, You are a fascinating creature, Maeve. A paradox. A warrior with a heart of shadows. A warlock who clings to the light. His hand brushed down from her cheek, gently caressing her neck. When he reached the fabric of her tunic, he drew himself away. His gaze drifted towards the waterfall. But enough of this, he said, his voice suddenly brisk. You came here with questions, and I am a giving being. Let's hear them. I have a mask. I have a mark, she said. Her hands turned the idea over in the air as she started to pace. He keeps getting away. I know, he returned. I have felt your connection with him. He scowled as he mirrored her pacing, almost shouting a quickened response. You may feel as though you wish to spare this man, but he is a means to an end. A bit of fun, maybe, and nothing more. She opened her mouth to speak, and Lothan butted in. It's a simple answer, he softened as he continued, words forming like silk threads in the air. He keeps evading you because you let him. I cannot control it, she said guiltily. Her throat was dry, and the words barely squeaked into existence. If I ordered you to kill him, or take him into the bounty holder, to forget any feelings you may have for this man, would you do it? Lothan's words muffled the sounds of the glade surrounding them. I would do as you ask. You are my master now. Her head sunk. She stared at her hands for a moment. And if I told you, rather than ordered you, for your own sanity, to take him in, collect your bounty, and be done with this criminal, what then? What you say makes sense, she replied. Lothan placed his hands on her tense shoulders, stroking along her collarbone with nimble thumbs. Then that is what you should do, he said, affirming every word with a slight nod. He leaned in and pressed his lips against her cheek, just in front of her ear. The feeling of his lips on her skin made her feel giddy. The smell of nectar and fresh berries teased her senses as she exhaled. Lothan pulled away from her. You know it's for the best, he said softly. He spread his wings, the air around him shimmering with magic. With a final lingering look, he launched himself into the air and soared towards the canopy. As he vanished among the leaves, Maeve was left alone in the glade. Wow. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Whiteseer, for sharing that. I feel like I went on a really I feel like I went on a really interesting journey. I loved the world building. I felt like I was pulled into the world of that story really, really well between the two characters. It's interesting. You almost kind of feel like this unbidden power between the two characters. And you can definitely tell, like, now that you had shared that's part of now it's become a larger story. This totally seems like this is like a clip, like a snip out of like a huge, like an epic novel where I feel like Maeve's like about to embark on like this. She's gonna fall for the criminal, but then she's kind of into the what was this Lofon? I feel like we got this like three-way love triangle forming. So it's super cool. I think your descriptions were really spot on. I think the your introductions for Lofon was very fun. I feel like when I was reading, I kind of missed like his joking, the introductory joke that set up his character. But I thought it was actually really, really cool. Yeah. I think my favorite part was definitely the setups and the descriptions for these characters. I feel like I want to know more. Like I feel like this is like part of a much larger story, and I kind of want to now see like this cat and mouse game that she's about to play with this other character. It sounds like she's like at the beginning of her journey, and she's probably going to be doing like some really cool things. I also want to know more about the Fae kind now. I'm like definitely kind of intrigued. He seems to kind of do a couple of cool things with their magic, and it just makes me want to know more. So I would say the world building is definitely my favorite part of this. And White's here. Definitely make sure to share more of the story. I know it sounds like you said you submitted you've been as my chapter 3 for the novel. Wow, so you wrote 17. Wow, so you've almost done 20,000 with this novel. And I think that's so beautiful, right? Sometimes we start with these really small pieces and we don't know how they evolve. So awesome. Oh, perfect. Aw, and you can definitely see that right with our friends Courtney. Oh my god, I love seeing the growth in this piece. I love the first draft, but it keeps getting better and better. Lynn, I feel like I like the updated piece. It works really well as a longer piece. Yeah, and nice, right? So you have the first chapter in for the critique group. Awesome. So I'm sure that we'll be seeing an excerpt of this story much later on during one of our critique streams. I know, I know. Well, usually our critique streams are a little earlier in the day since the critique stream this Saturday, I think, is at 1 Pacific, 2, 3, 4 p.m. Eastern, which means it's probably around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which means it's probably around 9 o'clock in the UK, 9 to 10. So hopefully not as late as usual. So yeah, White's here. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was super awesome. Really, really cool. Wanted to make sure to do a shout out. And once again, to any of our other faded fantasy writers, anybody else who didn't make it and submit, throw it up on the Discord. We'll read it up and we'll queue it up in one of our future update streams. I would love to see the other stories that didn't make it and see how they evolved. So very, very cool. Now, before I sign off, I sign off, a quick update for our Read Now book club. I forgot to touch on the book club. So we've been doing some fun things with the book club over the past couple of months. We've tried out a couple of different strategies, and we found that some at events, some like the streams people show up to, and then some they don't. So we've been talking about it. I'm working with obviously Courtney as our community book club director. And then we also have Adrian. And then we also brought Mama Maggie on to help us as well, as we're kind of talking through what do we want out of this book club, right? Because we want to be able to help bolster and further discussions, but we don't want to feel like we're creating extra things for people to do. So what we're actually going to try for a month or two, instead of picking a book of the month, we're just going to be doing some Discord stuff and saying like, hey, why don't you just come show up and join us in Discord, and we'll just kind of talk about what we're reading. That way we're not focused on a single book and it's not feeling like extra work, especially for a writing community where we want to be focused on our writing as well. So Courtney, we're going to be moving our reading sprints in the Discord. We were originally trying out at Friday nights, but we just didn't think that that was a popular time. So we're going to try our reading sprint Discord session on Sundays. So those of you who've shown up to our Saturday Discords with Soul, one of our co-working sessions, we've been doing that on Saturday nights, and that's been pretty popular. And then we're going to start doing our Sunday reading sprints with Courtney, like I said, on Sunday. So we're going to be trying that out for a couple weeks, seeing how people like. You can really just show up if you want to come just talk about whatever book you're reading. And this is just a great way to kind of inspire us and kind of motivate us to read. Because you know what, first to grow as writers, we need to be reading. And some of you, I know, are reading all different types of stuff. So I think maybe this way we'll be able to learn from each other. And we're going to create an open, collaborative reading experience. And we're going to try that out for a few months and see how that feels. If there's something that you want to see in the book club, definitely make sure to let us know. Drop comments in the Discord. Let us know what you're feeling, and we'll go from there. Awesome. So those were the updates that I wanted to make sure to touch upon. Make sure that if you hopped into the stream a little late, go back, watch the replay. We touched on we touched on channel membership, our new monthly calendar, Faded Fantasy, and then I touched on the book club briefly. So we did do a number of good updates. Really happy to see all you guys hop into the community. Welcome back. And I think that is what I got for you today. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. So I think that's what I got for y'all today. So everyone, thank you so much for joining. We are definitely having a blast. And yeah, I think that's everything that I got. So everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. That's what I got for our Right Now Monday update stream. I'll be back tomorrow for a daily writing stream. I want to say same time, 3 Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, as I'm trying to get through the last Scarecrow. Oh my goodness. Right, guys. I'm at that part where it's about to get crazy. I'm about to have animals fighting animals, and it's the death, the fight to the last, and we're getting closer to the midpoint. Oh, such a crazy chapter I'm on. So come join me tomorrow for another writing sprint. Thank you all for joining. But unfortunately, that brings us to the end of the stream. Don't forget, words are wind, but stories are forever. I'm Kaufman, and I'll catch you on the morrow. Stay creative, my friends. Words are wind, but stories are forever. I'm Kaufman, and I'll catch you on the morrow. Stay creative, writers. It's time to write
Right now.
Sorry.
Right now, not right now, but right now. Read now, right now. Is that right?
Words are wind, but stories are forever. I'm Kaufman, and